What up? Welcome to the BruceCooper podcast. My name is Bruce, or Bryce, however you want to, whatever you want to call me. That's become a little bit of an intro. I think I say that every time. Anyway, today I am going to be interviewing my friend Wyatt, otherwise known as Zench_origin on Twitch. I've known him for a while. I've actually never sat down and talked with him though, so this ought to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for wanting to be a part of this. I promise you, everybody who's reached out is going to be on this podcast eventually. Thank you again for just all the support. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you've had a great weekend. Stay tuned for more. There's a lot more podcasts in the hopper coming down the pipe, whatever stupid thing I want to say. Anyway, enjoy. And also, this is the first intro I've done without actually interviewing the person first. Usually I interview them and then I do the intro. So I'm just as excited about this as probably Zench is. Anyway, enjoy. I will catch you on the next one. I love ya. Thank you. All right. Hello. I'm here with my buddy Wyatt, aka Zench_origin, on Zench_origin on Twitch. Yeah, hello. Are you here? Are you there?
Yeah, how's it going, Bruce?
Good. How are you? How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. I literally just got out of bed. It's 12 p.m. I'm a night owl.
I was gonna say, so you're Central Time. Utah is Central Time, right?
It's actually Mountain Standard. I think I'm not good with time zones, but I think it's just outside of Central.
It's so stupid. So Arizona, which for my entire life, I considered Arizona more on the west side of the United States. It has a different time than Oregon, where I'm at. So I was trying to schedule this with somebody who was in Arizona, and I missed it because I thought they were at the same time zone as me. I don't know, man. Time zones are so stupid.
I can see the reason for it, but at the same time, it's why can't we just have a constant time and people can just adjust to it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can think in the idea of X amount of hours instead of X.
But then you'd have people living technically in the future. And anyway.
Right,
Anyway, how's it going, man? So yeah, so you reached out. I sent out a little bit of I put out my feelers, and you were somebody that reached out saying that they wanted to be on the podcast. We talked a little bit about I started this because I'm not very good at having one-on-one conversations. I'm awkward and I get scared and so I started this because I wanted to get better at it. I don't know if you're in a similar. Why did you want to be on the podcast, I guess?
Well, mainly because I thought, one, it would be cool. Two, I kind of actually look up to you as a streamer. I like how you're always, happy no matter who it is. You can take a joke, but at the same time, you're one of those guys that knows when to draw a line. For example, when you're streaming, when things get out of hand, a good way to bring it back instead of just looking in the camera and getting all serious and, just killing the mood. You have a fun personality that allows it to be done in a more relaxed way. And I kind of want to improve that in myself, just staying mellowed out, staying laid back, staying fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's not supposed to be about me, but I will say that if you do see that, I'm winging it, bro. There's no I don't know. It just comes with practice, I guess. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and so does communication, like we were mentioning a little bit earlier before we started this and actually just barely you mentioned how you want to become better at communicating, listening, talking, things like that. I'm in school right now, and one of the classes I need to take is actually about interpersonal communication. And I read in there that actually it's an acquired skill. You aren't born with the ability to communicate well. You can communicate, but communicating and communicating well are two separate things. One of them takes practice. The other one, is just kind of there.
Right. Interesting. So is that like a muscle in your brain that gets stronger? Like, how does that? Did they go into the like why aren't we born with that? Is it just something like is it like learning to ride a bike essentially?
I think so. It would make sense because just like with any other skill, it takes practice. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a muscle. It takes practice. I spent some time with this guy who was really good at communicating. He was just a really good talker. He knew how to make people talk about themselves, and he was liked because of that.
Right.
And that was a skill I want to learn. And I talked to him about it because I lived with him for a little bit, and he's like, "Yeah, just practice, ask questions, just do it."
Yeah, that's interesting. Like what makes it I think that's right. Like when I think of people who I enjoy talking with, they put themselves second in the conversation. Like uh they make me feel like I have
Yeah,
like yeah, like special they make me feel special, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. They made you feel like they were actually genuinely interested in who you are. They weren't trying to get anything from you. They were trying to just get to know you, and that's
Yeah.
that's
For
it.
sure. For sure. Yeah. That's good. Huh. So you're in college, I'm presuming. I actually
Yes,
don't know how old you are.
I'm. I'm actually turning 23 this month.
23?
I'm an old man.
No, dude, you're a child. I'm 9 years older than you, Zench.
That's okay.
Dude, so 23, that's the Blink 182 age. That's awesome.
Really?
Like no one likes you when you're 23. I don't know if you
Oh, I haven't heard that song. I should probably look it up because I enjoy Blink.
you
I
haven't
enjoy
heard that. It's all the small things.
Really?
Nobody likes you when you're 20. I think it's all the small things.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's right. Yeah. I remember
yeah.
now. Okay.
The Blink
I just
182
didn't
age.
recognize the line. I thought you said that was like the song title. I was like, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, no. So like I remember specifically turning 23 because I knew a girl named Lindsay who was like, "That's your Blink 182 age." She was a couple of 2 years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, 23 was good. I gotta say though, 30s, dude, being 30 is like
Yeah, how does that feel?
being 30 is the coolest thing in the world. I don't know what it is. I don't know about you. Like when I was 23, I was anxious all the time. I was like kind of starting to feel like depression. But
Okay.
being 30s, man, I don't know. It's weird. Like
Everything just is playing and you're just kind of there. You're like, yeah, life is good for the most part. I'm chilling.
you start to accept. Like this is gonna sound really morbid, but like for me,
Death is.
yeah, like people started dying. Family members started. People that were important to me.
Right.
And you start to learn. Like I was always so like afraid of death, and now now that I'm 30, I've like accepted that death. You start thinking about the other side of your life, not the first part of your life. Does that make sense?
You start thinking about the ladder instead of like what's going to happen. You start
Yeah.
preparing. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, you start thinking of, at least for me, people are probably like, what in the is this guy talking about? I started thinking about like, you start thinking about what you're doing to make yourself happy because you realize that you don't have an infinite amount of time on Earth. And you start thinking,
So you have like a meta crisis, we could call it.
Yeah.
Like you start thinking about yourself and how much time you actually have left.
Well, it's like when you were okay. So when I was 23, I was like, so like all I thought about was like getting a girlfriend. And when you're 30, all you think about is enjoying the rest of your life, regardless of if anybody's in it or not. I don't know if it doesn't make sense.
Weird.
It won't make sense to you. You'll understand, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you have to experience in order
Yeah.
to fully understand. I get that for sure.
Yeah, it's weird, man. 30, like 30.
It seems like a lot of time that's the way life is too, is you don't fully understand until you're there. Like for example, I got back a few months ago from a 2-year trip, and I came home to a 4-month-old nephew.
Wow.
And yeah, that was fun. And I lived with him, and now that I've grown accustomed to him, I've developed a different kind of love, a new kind of love that I don't feel with my mom, dad. my
Yeah.
sister, my brothers, things like that. A different kind of love, and it's really cool. And it kind of gets me excited for my own kids because I got to experience this new thing, right?
Right.
And so it's like, all right, what else can I learn from this?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you were so I don't know if you want to I
Yeah, we can touch on it.
yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to make it a focus because I don't want to be like preachy or
Oh no,
proselyte
no,
or
for
anything
sure.
like
No,
that.
no. So I know, but uh you were gone for 2 years on what were you doing for 2 years?
So I am a member of the LDS Church. Mormons is a nickname that we go by. But I was gone on a mission there or for the church for 2 years in Louisiana. And I
Wow.
got to proselyte, and not just that, but I also got to do service and help the community, which was really cool.
Yeah.
With this experience, I also got to see the world from a different perspective because we're not exactly babysat. We're literally on our own. We're assigned to go off in pairs, and I got to experience what the world is really like outside of Utah. I got to experience culture. I got to experience people, and I'll tell you what, man, Southern hospitality is unreal.
Really?
Oh yeah, like people, you go knock on their door, it's like 100 degrees outside, a humidity of 75, and you're on your bike. People be like, "Oh, honey, you want some water?"
Yeah. That's crazy.
And
So
they'll just give you water, and it's amazing.
so I I've always been curious like people I mean it's a bit of a stereotype, but like when people when like people knock on people's doors, they're not treated the best. Like did you ever find yourself in situations where you were like genuinely scared, or was it mostly just a safe environment? Like what was that like?
Okay, so I don't think I've ever been like scared, but I've definitely gotten angry because this one guy shoot us off like we were dogs, literally like we were stray dogs,
Yeah.
and that honestly tripped my trigger because I believe yes, there's probably fear in there, and my response to fear in that situation was probably the anger, the adrenaline rush. I
Yeah.
was ready to, I was ready to throw down. That was just my natural reaction, and of course, I had no intention of punching this, I don't know,
Oh, right.
70-year-old guy out.
Yeah, I'd hope not. Yeah.
Um,
No, but I think it's
but
normal to get you felt disrespected. I get that.
yeah, yeah. And as far as fear goes, I don't think I've ever felt a huge amount of fear. This one time though, we were in this kid's house who had a giant, and we're talking all over his floor, man. He had like the giant packing paper that they crumple up and put in packages.
Yeah.
They had like a giant piece of that out with a huge pentagram drawn on the floor, and I was
Whoa.
like, this could either be really cool experience or this could be really bad. And
Yeah.
luckily, it was just a really cool experience.
Right. Yeah, that's I mean that we I won't go into what I don't know, like that would freak me out. Like things like
Oh, believe me, I was a little nervous. I was skeptical.
yeah, for sure. So like in Louisiana, like we talk about the South, like that I've never ventured so I live in Oregon, right, which is near like Nevada. I've gone to Oregon, Washington, Nevada, California, and Arizona. I've never gone further east. I have no idea what it's like anywhere else in the United States, like let alone the world. So I always have a lot of respect for people who have traveled and done things that are way outside of my comfort zone. That sounds, I mean, it sounds cool. I don't know anything about like the religion or the church or anything like that, and we don't have to get into that,
Right.
but
If you have questions, like I'm free to answer them, but it's not like I'm going to be proselyting.
yeah, no, and I appreciate that. It's kind of it's just like there's a lot of I have a lot of respect for people who pursue their passions, and that takes a lot. I think it takes a lot of guts to go and try to introduce people to your church, if that's my understanding of what that process is like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not solely the church; it's solely help them come closer to Christ.
Right,
That's
right.
essentially what it is. But once again, I'm not proselyting because I
Yeah,
personally don't like when people come preach to me. Like even
right.
in my own stream and in chat rooms, I don't talk to people about it because No one really wants to hear that, you know. If they want to, you can be like, oh yeah, I'm a member.
Yeah, totally.
Like, oh really? What's your belief on this? And I'll be like, oh, this, and then if they want to know, they can ask me.
Sure.
You know, I won't be offended.
And I think that's absolutely the correct way to do it. And I think that's the way you're going to get the most, you know, not respect, but that's going to be the best. You're going to get the best response. And ultimately, you're going to get people who truly like listen approaching it that way. You know,
and that's the way it was on the mission too. Is like, if people weren't interested, I was like, all right, I'm out of here. Yeah. You don't want to hear a message? That's cool. You know?
Yeah.
I hope you have a great day. I genuinely do.
I'm
just going to stop wasting your time, stop wasting my time. We're good to go, man. I'm out.
Yeah. No, and that's good. That's good. Well, cool. Yeah, Louisiana. I mean, I hear it's like hot and muggy, and
so
really good food.
Oh my gosh, dude!
What was your
put on weight?
Yeah, I bet. But you're on your bike, so that probably helps. Like, what was your favorite? Do they have those? Are they called boils?
Crawfish boils?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So we actually have crawfish here in Utah, except in Utah we call them crawdads. And
right, we have crawdads here too. Interesting.
For anyone who doesn't know, they're a crustacean. They're like a tiny lobster, basically, just a itty bitty lobster, maybe the size of like your ring finger and your middle finger put together, roughly. That's about how big they are. And basically what you do is, I actually got to learn the process, is you get this big old pot, right? It's more of a social event than anything. So you get this massive pot, like no joke, 20-gallon pot, if not more.
Right.
And you get a jet burner underneath it. And you heat it up, you put in like some corn, you put in some other ingredients, make it a little spicy. You put an onion, you throw all that stuff in. And then you take the crawfish and you actually cook them alive. But because they're bottom feeders, they taste like dirt if you don't do something called purge them.
Okay.
Which basically means you make them puke their guts out.
Whoa.
By putting them in salt water, you rinse them out a few times, and then when the water's ready, you just put them right into the pot. And you do a couple things
Jesus
when they're cooked. Yeah, when they're cooked, you do a couple things. One, you crack the tail off, and then you can peel the tail, and it's basically like a shrimp. That's how the tail tastes. And then you do something called sucking the head, which is where all the flavor is at.
Okay.
And for all those who have a little interesting minds like myself, you know, sometimes I'd give a little snicker because I'm immature.
Right. I mean, I did, so.
But yeah, that's where you get all the flavor, and it was just a really cool experience.
So let me get this straight. You take the crawfish or crawdad, you put it in just cold salt water.
You just throw them in water, and then you mix salt with them. You mix them around. They start puking.
They start throwing up.
Yeah, and then you rinse out the water again. You do it a couple more times, to make sure they're completely empty of all the dirt and whatnot.
So it gets it out of their stomach. Whoa.
Yeah, that way you don't taste the dirt.
Do they turn color when you do that? Because I know they're kind of translucent, right? Or am I thinking shrimp?
They honestly kind of look like shrimp.
Yeah,
almost.
They're like. I know they have little pinchers, and they're like red, right? I've seen them before. I saw one at Disneyland, like in the water swimming around. That's crazy.
Yeah, then you cook them. You just cook them right in their shells. You don't peel them or anything. And then, of course, they have different recipes that call for crawfish and whatnot, like crawfish gumbo. You got jambalaya, which is another delicious thing. Red beans and rice. And we have sister missionaries. They're women who want to go out and do what our tiles as men were called elders.
Right.
So the sisters, I felt bad for them because, man, you'd see them come into the mission. They were good looking, that sort of thing, and then you'd see them like maybe a few months later, and they might have gotten a little more plump.
Hey, man, listen.
Because it's all about feeding. Like
there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, Zench. Of course not at all. I'm just saying, like, that's just the way the culture was. Is like, I'd almost compare it to Polynesian culture, where like if you don't eat, they might take it as an insult.
Yeah.
And I have a high metabolism. Elders would get bigger. I didn't. My metabolism would just burn the food straight off like the same night.
Yeah, you say that shit now, dude. I was a string bean too when I was 23. Man, you got to watch out. I'm just saying.
Dude,
I'm just saying, dog.
Joke. I'm trying to get a better diet, but gosh dang, those hot pockets are just too easy to cook.
Yeah, right. Yeah, welcome to the streamer lifestyle.
Yeah, man.
So you stream on Twitch as well, Zench _origin. You've been streaming for on and off. You said, well, when did you start streaming? I mean, it sounds like you took a couple year break.
Right, the little hiatus where I couldn't really play video games or anything like that. But I started actually streaming was when I got my first apartment, which was in 2015.
Okay.
Then I left in 2017. I kind of had to hop off because I was struggling through some issues that I really just needed to cut myself off the internet from, and even a cell phone, I had to switch to a flip phone without data, things like that.
Yeah.
And then I got into some better habits, and then I went out, and then I came back and I picked streaming back up, and I mean, it's all been cherry from there.
When you're on your mission, did you miss streaming?
I miss the people.
Yeah.
I miss playing games and helping people and all that sort of stuff. I miss my family. I can only really talk to them once a week because we're supposed to be focused on helping people.
But that's crazy. 2 years, man.
It was great though. I wouldn't take it back for the world. You'd have to give me $1 million, and even then I'd seriously consider not taking $1 million and keeping the experience, because you can't buy experience, you know what I mean?
Do you miss being on the mission?
Okay, so when I was on the mission, I felt near the end I'd done the things that God wanted me to do, so I felt satisfied. So I don't really miss it in that aspect, but I do miss not having to worry about bills, not having to worry about money, things like that, because how the mission works is the church doesn't pay for it, we pay for it ourselves. We give the church our money, and then they're basically our financial professionals. They use that money to pay for our rent, our bills, and then they give us some so we can buy our food, things like that.
Interesting. Okay.
So the church doesn't actually pay for it. We pay for it ourselves.
So you were basically when you say you don't miss like having to pay bills and all that, you just don't miss having to manage your money. You like just having somebody. I don't miss
adulting.
Yeah, for sure. Basically somebody just saying you're going to need X amount of dollars for the next 2 years. Go and do your thing.
Yep, pretty much it. That was it, and it's super nice because that stress wasn't there. Money management. Seeing how much am I spending a month versus how much I'm saving, that sort of thing.
That's tough, dude. It sounds so easy, but like the temptation of buying something just inside your budget, but knowing that things are going to be tight, like that's.
That was it. It was all about compromise and sacrifice. And I'll be honest, I got into Magic the Gathering while I was out there.
Oh, Lord.
And it was so hard to control myself to be like, all right, I'm just going to get this pack for this month.
Dude.
That's it. Because I only had $160 to live off of for a month for food.
Wow.
But members would feed us.
Magic's like $6 a pack or something like that?
Dude, I think you're on the lower end. I think it's 20 or 15.
Really? Man.
Yeah, dude. And for like a starter pack, like for that big old box that gives you nothing but crap cards and a few boosters, it's like 40, I think.
Wow.
And then people in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't bought a Magic thing in a while, but so man. It was all about divvying up money, make sure you could make it, and that's a great life skill that it taught me. Is right now being a college student, I'm working full time and going to school part-time just because I'm missing out on one credit. It's taught me how to manage money, because school of course takes precedent over everything else right now, and so it's definitely taught me how, like, if I need to quit my job, how can I readjust my finances to where I can make it to next summer.
Do you like your job?
Oh, my job is great. So I work as a remote technician. I work on computers remotely. People call in. I can actually stream, play video games, and do homework while I'm on the clock. But as soon as I get a phone call, I need to help that customer.
They're cool with that, Zench? Come on.
Dude, I literally talked to my supervisor. He's like, I'm cool with it. just make sure you're on the phone. You're ready to help people. I'm like, dude, this is like the dream job for a university student.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you from your home, you set up and you stream. And so you stream and you're doing your homework, stream and or doing homework. And then when someone calls, you have to drop all that stuff and take their call.
Pretty much, yeah. But the way I do it with the stream is I have a hotkey set. It's Alt P, and what it does is it'll mute all the audio. It'll bring up a little notice on the stream saying on the phone I'm working. Sit tight or something like that.
Yeah.
And it makes it because of course I can't exactly stream that phone call, right?
Yeah.
Trouble for that.
Well, right.
But, yeah, and then I take care of them, and then I come back, and everything's hunky dory.
So how long does the call take?
It depends. Honestly, it depends on their two things. One, their ignorance. I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just the way people are. When I hit their age, because we got like 60 to 80-year-olds calling us. When I hit that age, I'm not going to know anything about computers either. But essentially, the ignorance of their computer,
right,
and what their problem is. If they call in with like a Windows problem, like to where the operating system's messed up, I could tell you within 10 minutes if they'd need to take it into a store.
I see.
Or if I could fix it remotely. But if it's something like, hey, I need to get a blank page on my Word document, that's a 3-minute fix. Right. I could walk you through it if I wanted to.
Now, are these customers? Please don't go too much into detail on this. But are
they? Of course.
Have they like purchased the service, or is it part of the manufacturer's thing, or is it a third party thing?
So I'm not going to go into detail too much on it to protect my own.
Please, yeah.
Not identity, but you know what I mean.
Right.
But essentially, it's a service. It's a subscription type of service.
I see. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I would imagine that, like, not to sound rude, but like that's typically the type of thing that like older people are interested in.
Of course. And it's not. I don't think it's rude at all because once again, when we hit their age, man, computers are going to be different so much.
Man, screw that. I'm going to be smart forever.
Dang right I am.
Yeah, no, I'm even already now, like, I've been like working on restoring this Game Boy. And
dude.
And like they have these mods where they like solder in like backlights to like parts of the board. And I'm like, man, how am I supposed to know what like an AGS plug switch E is on this motherboard? Like how do I know it? And people are like, dude, it's the 6th pin from the R trigger. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I didn't. How am I supposed to know? Like, or Destiny, for example. I was talking to Rob about this. Do you play Destiny at all?
I don't. I just couldn't bring myself to pay for it. It just seems too grindy for me. But
it's free on Steam right now. But anyway, so but there are expansions. You're right. That game, you're supposed to just know how to do. It's like enter the dungeon of the dead tree sickle on the floor, and I'm like, what is any of? And people are
like learning curve is essentially a cliff.
Yeah, and people are like, just Google it. And I'm like, I don't want to Google it. I'm streaming. And they, am I dumb? Am I old here? Like, am I being a boomer? Like, what's going on here? Like.
Speaking of boomer, like that's so true. Is the boomers and essentially older people. I'm not just going to say boomers alone. It's older people, including myself and you. We have these kids. They're like, no joke, 5 years old. Someone will ask me about this iPhone thing, and it's like, all right, let me figure it out. And like 5 minutes later, I'll figure it out. These kids are like 5 years old, 30 seconds, and they got it figured out, and they have it back. And it's like, what the freak? I remember when I could do that.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It's absolutely crazy. I can't understand how there are legitimately like younger kids learning JavaScript or learning how to fix the Game Boy stuff, for example. They're going to Goodwills and buying these broken Game Boys and fixing them with little to no tutorial, and just because they know how like circuit boards work and how soldering works. And yeah, man, it's not even to mention like apps and stuff. Like, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going into. I'm wanting to be a software engineer, so apps will
Right.
probably be somewhere up my alley. And yeah, I mean, I'll have customers ask me, well, why did this happen with this software? And honestly, I just straight up tell them it was a bug.
Why
Like,
now? Why do you want to
if
be a
I tried
software
to
engineer?
explain it to you, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't even know, and all I do know is this bug. If it happens again, you got to issue. If it doesn't, you should be fine.
Right. So what about like, why software engineer? Like, why do you want to be a software engineer? Because it pays well. Is it needed? Is it fun?
Well, yeah, it pays well. It's fun for me. It's also, yeah, it is fun. I like making things and seeing them work.
Yeah.
Like being able to say, all right, I need you to do that, you to do this. Now I want you to do this one more thing. Put it out to the command prompt and show me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get that sick satisfaction that comes from fixing a bug, and you're just like, I am the man.
Right. When you complete your time at school, is there like a dream company that you'd want to go work for?
Not particularly. I think it'd be really cool to work for Google, mainly because I hear the death benefits are awesome.
Death benefits?
Yeah, let me explain that a little bit. So
Jesus.
I'm not sure the exact criteria in order to get the benefits, but if you die, they will pay. This is from what I remember. I'm not sure if it changes. This is from what I remember. They'll pay your spouse like $50,000 a year for 5 years.
But Zench, you can't be the biggest reason for you can't. Zench, what are you talking about? You can't want to work at a place just because it takes care of you if you die.
No, what I mean is like I want my family taken care of. If I die, like if I get in a car wreck, then I don't want to leave my family high and dry. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
I know you wouldn't want to have that with Ethel. That would be.
Yeah, but that's not the reason I would want to go to work at a place. It'd be because it's got a nice campus, or it'd be because they it's in a cool part of the world, or not because if I die.
Hey
okay.
Man, I'm prepared.
Now what? Right. You're scaring me, Zench. Now what if?
Oh no, I'm not suicidal at all.
No, I know. So what other? Okay, besides the death insurance or benefits, what? Like, I'm sure you've seen the videos in Google where.
Oh yeah, dude! Like their office spaces are nuts.
Yeah, where they have like scooters and they're riding. You can do your laundry there.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to work for them for those things. I want a company that has a laid back atmosphere where I don't feel pressure, where I don't feel stressed. Because when that happens, I turn into an angry person.
Yeah,
I turn into a very irritable person. I am trying to master the art of being laid back.
Right. What a so like I get a little when I get frustrated. And I'm sure Edith can absolutely confirm this. When I get frustrated or when I don't get what I want, I do kind of turn into a little bit of a different person.
For sure, yeah.
Like somebody that it feels like a snowball effect happens. Like, I don't know if
things pile up.
Yeah, it's like, well, I didn't get what I wanted, and that makes me really angry, and now I'm gonna pout, and then I recognize it, and then that makes me even more angry because I recognize it.
Or something else happens and it just starts stacking up on you, and you start overreacting a little bit because you're in this mindset that you're in a state of distress, and your body's response is just that.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate that. Do you have you learned anything that could, like, you say you've been working on it. Have you learned it? Like, have you taught yourself anything, or have you picked up anything to alleviate that?
Honestly, one thing that I just experienced the other day was something or other happened, and I realized that it was okay. Life is good.
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm not about to die. I'm not about to lose $1,000.
Right.
Life goes on. I'm okay. This is a little thing. Ultimately, in the grand scheme of my life, that is, maybe 80 years or something like that.
Right.
That's it. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah, man.
It's one day out of hundreds of thousands.
Reverting back to what we were talking about earlier, like being 30 or whatever, like that becomes the more and more. think about it all the time. Like, is this going to matter when I'm on, when I'm dying? Like, is this one little person cutting me off at the grocery store, like really gonna matter? Now, the argument is like they shouldn't get a pass, but
you shouldn't necessarily get super pissed off about it either. That's like the big thing. Like, you shouldn't waste your own energy and just thinking about that. It's no one likes to be thinking about negative things. We aren't supposed to be negative creatures by, but I'm not going to even bring God into this. By the way we were born,
right,
we are not supposed to be negative people.
Yeah.
We want happiness. That's just a natural want inside our own brains. We love that feeling.
Yeah, totally. Right. You should be addicted to being happy.
Yeah.
No, now, so to kind of lighten things up a little bit, okay? I have some questions. I've never come equipped with some questions, and they're video game related questions because
all right,
we both like video games, right?
All right.
Do you remember the very first video game that you played?
The earliest one I can remember, and my most favorite one, there are actually two. I found one of them. It's Unreal Tournament. It's one of the first ones. I found it on Steam, and I bought that bad boy immediately. The other one was a Sonic racing game in 3D.
Oh, wow.
I can't find that one, and I'm so ticked because I love playing that. And it was played on a Windows 98 later XP computer.
The Unreal Tournament or Sonic?
Of both of them.
Really? So your first video game ever was a PC game?
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Yep.
Was it like your parents or something?
Yeah, it was my parents' computer. It was an old piece of crap. It had like one of those tan towers.
Yeah.
The only like 3 slits on the bottom that allowed for airflow.
Was it like your mom or your dad, were they into computers when you were younger?
No, not really. My brothers were, and eventually that led me to being into them as well.
Do you have older brothers?
Yeah, I have 2 older brothers and 1 older sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then what actually happened, I took a long time away from video games is because one day, so a little bit of background, as a kid, well, actually, I have ADHD, and as a kid, anyone who's knows much about ADHD in the medical field knows that there's no one miracle pill for ADHD or for anything.
Right.
You have to find that right one, and it takes experimenting, and this happened while I was young. So we do that and all this jazz, but before that, I just, because of my ADHD, I got irritable sometimes. And one time my brother pissed me off while I was playing a game, and I just scratched his face.
Oh, man.
Like, I remember when I did that, and I got grounded for ages from video games.
Yeah.
I had it coming, though. I mean, there's no reason to act and lash out like that.
So your folks presumed, like, did they think it was the video game making you do that, or was that just your punishment because they knew that you liked playing video games?
I believe it was just my punishment, but my parents overall didn't even want a console in the house. Yeah. So, I mean, that's fine. The first time I had a console in the house was actually a Wii when that came out, like maybe a year after that came out.
Yeah, see, so yeah, okay, cool. So Unreal Tournament and then a Sonic racing game. I'll look into it. Was a Sonic 3D racing game?
Yeah, and I've looked everywhere for it, and I just can't find it.
If you know of a Sonic... All right. If you're listening to this, the first person to come up with the Sonic racing game that Zench is looking for, I will gift you a subscription to any channel on Twitch that you'd like. A tier 2, $9.99.
I'll give you $10.
Well,
I'm not kidding. I will straight give you $10 because it's that nostalgia.
Yeah, we'll find it. We'll find it.
That the old times.
Yeah, we'll find it. I'm not gonna include this in the Twitter title or anything. This will decide who the OGs are, who the people who actually have been listening for 40 minutes are. All right, because I see the metrics.
I'll give some hints. Like there's you can play as Knuckles. It's in a third-person view. You can play as Dr. Spudnik. You can play as Robosonic.
Was it a group racing game?
I think it was only single player, but I was really young, so I don't really remember the options.
Okay, and it was in 3D.
It was in quote unquote 3D for the times, because it was old.
But it wasn't. So it wasn't in the. It wasn't in the same like aesthetic of the current of. Remember Sonic for Sega? Where it was
it's
like
not like
side
that. It
side
is you're
scrolling.
behind the guy. You can actually turn. You're in a
I see.
3D world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there you go. There's the
So
challenge.
$10 and a subscription.
Tier 2 sub to anyone on Twitch, any channel on Twitch. That's a $20 value for both of us.
Free.
Yours free, yeah. Now, what is your all-time life favorite video game?
Oh, freaking. All right.
Take your time, man. This is a big question. And this determines this really determines how I truly think of you. I'm just kidding.
All this pressure, man. We're talking about pressure earlier.
And it's okay to stumble too. It's okay to say one and then be like, oh, well,
The thing is, there's so many good ones out there.
But if you had to choose
I think,
one.
honestly, maybe as far as story-based goes, The Wolf Among Us.
Okay. What's that for? That's for PC, right?
Yeah, that it's actually for all consoles. Well, no, I shouldn't say all consoles. I should say PC, Xbox, and PS4. The big E3.
I see. The Wolf Among Us. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a story about how your fables, those storybook fables, they're in the real world now, and they disguise themselves as normal humans. But you go through this mystery of what happened to this person. I'm not going to give any spoilers because I really want you to experience it.
Yeah.
For anyone who is nervous about nudity, that sort of thing, it does show boobs just for like a little part because you are in a strip club.
Right.
But that's like the only major nudity part.
I appreciate it, but now I will definitely be playing it.
Oh, dude, let me hit you up with some of that.
Yeah, some of the virtual boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take what you can get right now, right?
Yeah, right.
You in the doghouse, Bruce? What did you
No,
do
stop. Listen, that's not. So The Wolf Among Us. Okay.
Yes, great game. It's by Telltale.
Okay.
They also made The Walking Dead.
Is it in that same style?
Yes, it's in the same art style. It's all about making decisions. People react, and you'll have different outcomes.
Are they the ones who did Life is Strange?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually going to look that up.
The Life is Strange is the same way. They do like you're watching a movie that you can then make choices on, but it's like almost like a cartoon, but it's not really a cartoon.
Okay, so yeah, it's a little more cartoony than Life is Strange, but Life is Strange was made by Dontnod Entertainment.
Okay, so not the same.
And then Telltale made The Wolf Among Us, but yeah, it's the same idea that some decisions can make major outcomes, other ones, they aren't really referred to, but you don't know which ones because it always gives you a reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are there multiple endings?
Yeah, there's a few different ones. Of course, you're very limited. You can say how the ending works, but ultimately, just like with any video game,
it
always comes to that one single climax. Now, how it happens is how you really decide it.
That's cool. Yeah,
because until the invention of quantum computers and self-programming games, you'll have a limited amount.
Right. Interesting. So awesome. So The Wolf Among Us, favorite game. Okay, now the last question: is there a game, or what game are you most looking forward to?
Oh man. Okay. So right now, I've been super stoked about the Master Chief Collection coming to PC.
Thank God you did not say Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm on the fence about that one because there's a lot of things they could mess up on. Dude, I feel it might be an overpromised game right now, and I really fear that.
And I do not want to put the bad energy out there, but
of course,
people are getting tattoos. Are
you serious?
People are like naming their children. Like people are. I remember when No Man's Sky did this, and No Man's Sky is my
perfect example.
Favorite game of all time, right now. But like, I had people taking time off of work. I had people taking time, canceling vacations. I had people taking, risking everything. And when you do that, no matter how good the game is, it'll never live up to the expectations you put on it. And then you have a personal vendetta against it.
Right.
And like,
I feel that's almost part of the marketing scheme is their job. I'm not saying that they're bad, but it's their job to get you hyped up
they're
about it. And
so
when
good
it
at
works,
it. The problem is they're too good.
exactly.
Man.
Now, in No Man's Sky defense, or I guess offense, they did kind of overpromise, but
totally. They absolutely 100% did.
But they finally delivered, though. They finally
Sean
delivered.
Murray did not know how to. It would be like if Zench, it would be like if you got up there in front of the millions of people and you had ideas in your mind and you were like, yes, we're going to find a way to make this happen. And people were like, can you do this? And it was such an open, ambiguous question that you were like, well, yeah, it could. And then like, but it wasn't in the game, you know, it was really, but at the same time, Sean Murray, he should have just, Sean, I love you. I've heard rumors that you've watched the stream. Okay. Brother. And I know you've learned, but the next time somebody asks you a question and you're unsure of whether or not it's a yes or a no, just say, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. It was like, yes, that can happen. I mean, and I'm going to lose followers if I keep talking, but yeah, it's, so, okay.
No, but that's the way it is with even any sort of business decision is you don't overpromise. Your best bet is to actually underpromise
and over-deliver.
And then over-deliver and then just blow their expectations.
Right. No doubt. I just think that there was a lot of, pressure. I think,
and it's okay to not know things too. Like it's okay.
Yeah, and I think Cyberpunk 2077 is falling into the same. I don't want to think so, but I can't help but think that they're falling into the, you know, now Keanu Reeves and like the memes and now they're like radio silent. Like we haven't heard a lot of Cyberpunk 2077 news. Like what's happening, you know, like I was seeing like paid ads everywhere. I don't know.
It takes like 30 minutes to write a tweet. That's it. Like a good, well thought out tweet for a company, 10 to 30 minutes, you know, just giving you an update.
Now the Halo series, sorry, not to get too far off track.
No, you good.
Now I have some pretty fond memories in Halo. Are you going to go like, are you going to like train and try to like get like, you know, top NA stats? Like, what's your plan? I mean, is that what you're excited for? Are you excited for story? Like, why are you excited for?
To relive the soundtrack, to relive the emotions that the game can put you through. I feel they did such a good job, like with their music in the situation. Like, for example, the Scarab mission. When you hop onto the Scarab, that song always just gets me pumped up. It makes me actually, you know, feel something. It makes me feel energized.
When is it coming out?
It's supposed to come out this year, but I don't think it's going to happen, and I'm perfectly fine with that because I'd rather they be late and have it completely bug-free.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, completely bug-free.
They're running out of time, man.
Yeah, but as with any engineer that you would know, especially with software, you can't debug it on your company's machines. Mm-hmm. You have to release it, and then you fix the bugs.
Right, like, so
there's just so many things that can change. You got different architectures, different hardware. You got different, if you have it for multiple operating systems, you have to deal with that. You have a different way of interpreting data. There's so many things.
Right. So I'm looking it up right now. It's the Master Chief Collection, right?
Yes, sir.
Wow. This is big. I mean, like, I wonder, so I've heard like people are talking about like the Halo Master Chief Collection, it's going to like make Ninja super relevant again. It's going to like shape, it's going to be, you know, the new Fortnite. It's going to be the new, I don't know. Like, do you think it's going to go as far as like just take over or is this a personal thing for you?
It's not going to take over. I can tell you that right now. Sure, people are going to play it at first, just like with any big game. But eventually it's going to hit back to the bottom. It's not going to stand near. It might overcome PUBG for like maybe a couple of weeks, but I don't honestly see it staying up.
Really?
I'm sorry, not PUBG, Fortnite. My bad.
Fortnite, right?
I don't see it staying that high up for very long.
Yeah, I'm like watching these. I'm looking at these screenshots, man, and like Yeah,
it looks gorgeous, right?
Like the early Halo maps. Like I can't remember the one that was just a big field with rocks on both sides.
Blood Gulch, dude.
Yeah, like that's, and you would take a flag from one side to the
Yeah, and then you just had sniper hell just right there. And it was like you're just praying you don't get shot.
Yeah, dude, and like, yeah, wow, a lot of memories on that.
Yeah, and like we back in my old high school, we actually played the first Halo before school in one of the computer labs. It was
wow. Yeah,
it was amazing. So there's lots of good memories with that, and they're actually going to also release Reach on top of the Master Chief Collection with the PC release. And it's probably going to cost like $100, $130, something like that. But I'm willing to cash out for that. Honestly, you get like 4 games.
But they're still saying that it's coming out this year.
That's what PC Gamer said. I usually refer to PC Gamer for
that's what
a bit of my
they had a
video game news.
They had I'm reading the same article. It came out 12 days ago.
Oh, really? There's one came out 12 days ago?
Yeah. And it was like, and it's titled Halo, the Master Chief Collection on PC, Everything We Know. Halo's coming to Steam.
What they would really do that would be ballsy is they'd release it on Christmas Day. And just be like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, it's out.
Or like 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah, something like that. Ooh, that'd be good. That'd be a good little stunt right there for sales, actually.
Well, right, because it would allow people to gift it.
Right, gift it, buy it for themselves, buy it for their best friend and their dog, dude.
Yeah, I'll pick it up. I'll buy this.
Yeah,
we can play
totally
together.
Down. And then the co-op, not to mention, like, of course, you got the co-op. Hopefully, they still have split screen to bring back that old feeling of, that sitting on the couch with a freaking half-drink Mountain Dew and quarter of a pizza left.
Yeah, it's funny because Halo
playing Halo.
Halo has a lot of the same, like, when people think of Halo in terms of like the type of people who play it, it's kind of, I feel like it gets the same vibes as people who when we think of like people who know life, like World of Warcraft.
I honestly don't see people like that. I honestly see average Joes like me and you just, playing there, because that was
my
the kind
friends
of people who played Halo back in my day. It was like my cousins, my brother.
The people who I knew who played Halo, nah, dude. They
neckbeards.
I mean, they were me, but they were like,
oh, you're not neckbeard. Get out of here.
Lock themselves in their room, and they would only come out when their pizza got there, and they would drink, Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew, and just
come out in their whitey tidies.
They'd become literal gods of Halo, and then I would play against them, and they would play with their feet and kill me. I just remember I would load up, and then they would be on team A and I'd be on team B, and I'd immediately just be like, you'd immediately just hear, and then I'd just die.
Yeah, man.
I don't
have time to get that good, man.
Oh, dude, they were just literal gods of the game.
Trolls.
Yeah, goblins. Wow, or Halo goblins.
Afraid of the light and whatnot. Yeah.
So cool. That's awesome. Any other? So like, what would you say game B would be that you're most excited about for?
I was actually just thinking about that, and it just flew my brain. I think Dying Light 2.
Really?
Yeah, I hope they did it good. I'm a little excited for that one. Other one, I just am not excited for any other ones, to be honest.
Never got into Dying Light, man.
Man,
people love that game.
It.
It's like
if you enjoy fast-paced gameplay and heart pounding, Dying Light's the way to go. Some of the missions, oof.
Well, it's like it's very like there's also like parkour elements in it, right?
Yep.
See, I don't know. It always felt cheesy to me. Maybe I'm completely off base.
Just some of those parkour moves are like real. Like you watch some people on YouTube and they drop from like 30 feet.
That's crazy.
And land and they roll. Of course, their back's bruised and their shins are probably bruised too.
Yeah, they're like, I'm good, and then they die.
But the thing is, they survived the 30-foot drop, and they can continue running after that. It's like, what the freak is wrong with you?
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like that's so that, but when it's in a video game, I don't play video games to be like, maybe that's it. Like I wanna I want to be afraid to jump off this roof. I want to take the slow way down to make sure that I live. Like,
all right, let's get you on Mirror's Edge in VR then.
there's also something extremely fun about being a lunatic superhero. So I get it.
Oh, for sure.
Like being able to jump those 30. Yeah, I get it. Huh. Dying Light.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, each has its aspects of appeal and aspects that you just aren't really on board with.
Yeah.
And a company who can nail both of those is a company that's figured out like the golden equation for a video game.
Right. Now you mentioned VR. I know you're a VR fan.
Oh yeah, dude, I got my Vive sitting right here.
I picked up the Valve Index, and
yeah, how do you like that with the controllers?
It's cool, but I will say, and maybe I don't have it configured correctly, but it's not as seamless as they make it. Like when you can open your hand and close your hand, and
right,
like I'll close my hand, but like my pointer finger and thumb are like going up and down, and then they finally like all the way go down. Like you can't just like flip your buddy off, or like, it's not as fluid as I thought it was going to be. It's more like, but like it's cool having
the individual control of your own digits.
Yeah, and when you reach out and grab something, like you don't feel the controller on your hand, and then you grab something, and like you're like, whoa, I actually grabbed it. Like legitimately,
that's awesome.
You legitimately feel like you've grabbed something and you're picking it up because your hand is free. It like straps to the back. It has like the strap on the
back, so you can like shake your hand around and it will stay there.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then like you reach out and like pick up a cup, and like you actually your hand you pick it up like you really would, and then the cup gets picked up in the space, and it's cool. That's cool.
Well, yeah, the fact that you could like pick up a mug, because I pick up a mug with 3 fingers around the holster. Right. One pinky on the bottom, the other one at the top of the handle. That way, you can like balance it out, keep a firm grip on it. You can do that with the index.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, it's just a whole new aspect. But I think that jittering thing will be fixed as time goes on. They just need to get some software updates out, maybe a firmware update or two, and I think they can get that taken care of pretty easily. But how about the resolution on the head-mounted display compared to the Vive? Because I know you used to have a Vive.
Yeah. The sweet spot is about the same, right? Okay. So like you still
like the focal point.
Yeah, you still, if you look up or to the left or the right, it's still blurry, like a little bit. Like my understanding and what I've discovered about VR is that it's all about continuously like adjusting. Like you can't just put on your head and then be good for 6 hours. Like you have to readjust. And then you have to readjust, and then you have to readjust, and then it's kind of permanent.
And you can't really help that because with motion, things are going to get jostled around.
Oh, sure.
Can't help that unless you're like going to surgically attach it to your face.
Yeah, or you get a custom, or you pay to have your head molded or something, right? Like
something like that.
Yeah.
Some Botox on your cheeks.
I will like. It's not. I never saw the screen dooring effect in the Vive. It was there,
that's a real thing.
But after a while, you kind of forget about it. The index, the resolution is insane. The high refresh rate is, but the only real difference between the Valve and the Vive, is that it just takes, you just become immersed quicker.
Right.
After you've tricked your brain into thinking that you're there, screen dooring melts away. This just allows you to do it a little quicker.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because I did see like a side-by-side comparison, and it's like the sweet spot between the Oculus and the Vive. Like it has the clarity of the Vive, but less screen door like the Oculus.
Yeah, yes. It's also, but I will say the absolute best part is, for me, is the audio. The fact that the speakers, they're not headphones, they're speakers that hover above your ears.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they don't go in your ear, or it's not like cans, like a headphone. They're speakers that hover over top of your ears, and it does this really directional audio, but allows you to, so like you don't ever feel like you're wearing anything over your ears because you're not, but you're hearing all the game audio, and it's extremely immersive, and it's very, very clever.
Oh man, that's genius. And it still sounds good, because I know
Oh,
some
it sounds
headphones, if
so
you
good.
like cover them over your ear, it sounds like absolute garbage because it relies on that
Cup.
enclosed space
Yes. No,
to make the sound right.
it sounds so good. It sounds like you're in a car.
Oh man.
It's so, so, so cool. And like,
So would you say it's worth the price then, personally?
yeah, I mean, if for me, like, I was able to sell my old stuff and then get the new stuff, and the upgraded price was worth it. If VR is your thing, yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth it. If VR is what you're excited about. If you're just like, if you have the Vive and you're like, man, I don't really know, I play it once
the only
once a
thing
month.
that stopped me is the price, man. College student,
yeah. But you're not gonna, like, it's not a different experience. You're not gonna, you're not missing out on what you have right now.
It's not like you're about to have like a life-changing event happen.
We're not there yet. Someday. Yeah.
What I'm honestly waiting for is a game like DayZ to come out in VR.
Yeah.
I think that would be fantastic.
I'm waiting for Twitch. Imagine if Twitch was VR and like people's channels were rooms. You could go sit in a movie theater and watch them.
You can kind of do that in VR chat, actually. There's rooms where you can put in a URL, bring up a website. I've done it with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is that, but it's VR chat. There's still bugs in there. But I understand the concept that you're getting at, is like Twitch view room or something like that for VR.
Right. And it was like Twitch. I think personally, the future is like, the future of VR is going to be much more VR chat driven, in that it'll be like community based.
It's going straight up be Ready Player One, dude.
Dude, yeah, I'm for that.
Like, where people can just get their avatars on, they can play games together that are really well detailed, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I'm excited. Yeah, that's the life
Yeah, that would be fun. Except that's another thing about communication. One more thing on communication is actually talked about online interpersonal communication, is your perception about that individual is significantly different than you would have of them if you saw them in real life.
Right, because it's totally catered to exactly the way their wants.
Yeah, for like, let me throw out an example for you. I actually like got hit on by this girl in League of Legends. All right. I didn't know she was a girl in the first place. I added him at the time because I thought he was good. So we played. It turns out to be a chick, right? And she's a little bit flirtatious. So I'm like, all right, this girl's pretty attractive. Awesome. And then, we add each other on Snapchat. And then I see her. I'm like, I'm not actually attracted to her. It's
Zench.
That idea about perception. You know what I mean?
Right. I know exactly what you're talking about. Zench, you need to be careful. You're a crazy little 23-year-old.
I'm a bachelor, bro. Leave me alone.
Live your life, man. Live your life.
Yep.
Just don't be giving these people money. Promise?
Oh, of course.
Promise.
Bro.
It happens,
They give
dude.
me money.
No, just no.
I'm kidding.
No exchange of currency needs to happen in your love life, all right?
Of course not. I only donate to my favorite streamers.
Okay. All right, man. Well, that's about the end. But dude, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Is there anything else? Where can we find you? Twitch, Twitter.
So my Twitch is twitch.tv /Zench Origin, ZENCH_origin, like the game platform. Twitter's pretty much the same. And then if you want the Discord, I got Discord. You can just go to my Twitch channel and take care of it from there. It's on one of my panels.
Perfect. And would you consider yourself like a variety streamer, particular type of style that you're shooting for?
For sure, variety, but right now I've been really into League of Legends, just messing around with friends on League of Legends, and I'm actually streaming straight from a Nintendo 64, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Perfect, dude.
So huge variety.
Yeah, make sure you go check that out. Zench, thanks again for taking the time out of your day.
No, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it, man.
And thank you so much for listening to the Bruce Cooper podcast. I had a great time with Zench. Stay tuned for the next one. Should be coming out sometime this week. The week of, I think it's like the second week in November already, man. Anyway, thanks again for listening. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure you follow Zench, twitch.tv/Zench_origin. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, youtube.com/BruceCooper. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure you hit me up if you have any questions or if you want to be on the podcast. Have a great rest of your day. Take care of one another. Treat each other right. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you.